first things first, you're going to want to install Fmod. Go to fmod.com and create an account. And once you've created your account, you'll be able to go to download. Go to Fmod Studio 2.01, and then in this drop-down menu, go to 2.01.05 Unity Verified. This is the version of Fmod we'll be using to, mess with Brutal Orchestra. Download. Of course, I'm not going to show you that because I've already downloaded it. But once you have that, you'll also need to download the brutalorchestra.fsPackage. This is a file Nico gave us, and I will put a link somewhere very high up in the description to download this for yourself. So once you have downloaded and fully installed Fmod, you're going to open up Fmod and open project, find the brutalorchestra.fsPackage, open it, then select folder, wherever you want that to be put, and recover. Okay. And now you have your Brutal Orchestra fsPackage. This is where we'll be doing everything. Now that we have Fmod open, I'm going to explain very vaguely how it works. In a game using Fmod, the game isn't directly calling a sound to be played. Instead, it's calling an Fmod event that will play the sound. That sounds, a bit roundabout and not a very good way of doing it on the face of it, but it gives you a lot of neat features. So let's say you want to create a party member hit sound. Do new 2D action, name it to something, in this example, test hurt, and then in here, under actions, right-click and do add multi-instrument. This is essentially saying, hey, when we call test hurt later on, just play one of the instruments we give this. So I'm going to bring up Lillian's hurt sounds from my mod because they're very distinct. I'm going to turn this down as well so you don't have to listen to it too much. And then, hey, would you look at that? When we play the event, that happens. It picks a random sound. Now, some people say you should do randomize. I prefer shuffle because I'm pretty sure shuffle's just randomize, except it prevents the same sound from being played twice in a row. And I think if you're hearing the same sound over and over, it gets a little grating. So, I'm also going to recommend you change max instances to 1, because if that's not the case, then if you trigger this event very quickly back to back, it will, play more than once. And having like 8 hit sounds going on at the same time, or 8 talking sounds or whatever, isn't very pleasant to the ears. So once we have our actual multi-instrument set up, our event, we're going to go to Windows, Mixer, and you're going to see these 3 groups. These 3 groups correspond to the volume sliders in the settings menu. This is important because if you don't add it to one of these, then the player won't be able to turn up or down your sound. So because this is a party member hurt sound, we're going to go to test hurt, or SFX, character, player, and I'm going to drop it into the player damage section. Now that's not just going to make it so that it can be turned up or down. I'm going to save real quick with Control S. The game also adds reverb to party member sounds. I'm actually going to turn that up a little bit more so you can hear it. You'll notice there's more reverb on that than there was previously. So, although I don't do much with custom music yet, let's assume you wanted to create a custom song. You'll do new event, new 2D timeline, and you're going to want to drag in a song. I'm going to do Charlie's here. You might know this one from Club Penguin. I like this track. Turn it down because I don't want to blast your ears off. So, of course, that's pretty simple. You could just call this already, but you need it to loop. So, no, stop it. Let's just do right-click up here on Logic Tracks and do Add Loop Region. And then here we go. I'll make this nice and small and soon so you're able to hear it shortly. And yeah, it loops. So you'd usually put this around like the entire song, or maybe you'd have like an intro bit over here, and then you'd have the looping bit. But yeah, you pretty much just do that. And of course also add it to, the music section. So now you have your hurt sound. What do I do with it? Well, assuming you want to get it into game, which of course you do, you need to go to banks, click on new bank. Make sure this bank is named something unique because that's actually going to be kind of important for later. So I'm just going to name it roll. Doesn't really matter. We're going to right click this and then mark as master. That's important. Test hurt. Go back to your event that you want to add in game, and then assign to bank, browse, and then your bank. And hey, it's right there. It's under it. You're going to Control S to save, or save, and you're going to build. Now, you can go Open Explorer, and then you should see these two files. So I've got a nice test mod here to show you how we're going to implement these files. So you'll take your .bank and .strings.bank file, and you'll add them into your mod. Simple enough. Both of these need to be embedded resources, just like pretty much everything you bring in, so remember to do that. Now, you're going to need to go into Brutal Orchestra's files and grab two things. You're going to need to grab, from Managed, fmod unity.dll and unityengine.audiomodule.dll. You'll need to set both of those files as dependencies for this to work. All right, once you've got these files ready, and then you've set up those extra dependencies, fmod unity, blah, 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 we're going to need to create these two files on the player's computer. Now, if those files are not in the streaming assets folder, look, never mind, they won't be playable. The game won't be able to call these sounds. Now, you could just tell the player to put them in there manually, but they're probably not going to update consistently. Things are going to go wrong. It's just probably best not to rely on making other people update it. So, luckily for us, Salt actually created a bit of code that will create these files in that folder for us. Remember to have these usings or else you'll get some red lines here. So, from here, in your awake, we're going to call create sound bank file, and then as a string, the name of your bank file. Now, keep in mind, the code down here will add .bank to it manually, so just the normal name. And after creating the normal .bank file, we'll need the .strings.bank file. Now, again, it adds bank manually. From there, we'll call fmod unity, okay, .runtime manager .load bank. Now, this is going to be the same as the sound bank files we're creating. So this is basically just saying, let me get this written. Oh, come on. Basically just saying, create the sound files and load them. Simple enough. Once we have these files, we're going to go to the character. Now, this is just a little test character I made, and here you'll have your hurt, death, and dialogue sounds. So what you're going to want to do is just remove that, and we're going to be replacing it with a string. To make this easy on ourselves, we're going to open fmod back up, go to events, the sound you want, and then copy path. And then just paste it here as a string. Now, if it were in like a folder of some sort, it would give you the correct folder. But it's not in a folder for us. So it's just this. And yeah, you're pretty much done, actually. I'm going to build this really quickly, and when succeeded. And then we should be able to do bin, debug, netstandard, testmod.dll. And let's bring this in game so I can show it off. So now that we've got the game open, let's just new run and go grab the test character. Let's go to an encounter, please. Here we go. I'll even turn the music up a little bit. And using the console, we should be able to hit our guy and hear these sounds. That was a bit quiet, so I'm actually going to turn it up a bit more. Shield your ears. Quiet, but you heard it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this video. Have fun creating sounds.